Hello, today we're going to be looking at the Keychron Q1 Pro, which is a 75% mechanical keyboard. And we can also compare it against this, the K2 Pro, which is also a 75%. This one is a little bit more compact to this one. You see, you get a little bit more space around the arrow keys and the F keys, whereas this, look, it's all a little bit cramped. So I actually bought this after getting the K2 because I wanted something a little bit more spacious, but also with a jog wheel. It's an aluminium wheel that you can program for anything, but I just use it for volume. You do get the function keys on here, so you do have volume, where are they? F10, F11, look, so you can press function F10, 11 to change that volume, but it's just a bit neater with this. And what are the other differences? In terms of height, they're about the same. In terms of length, yeah, you see the Q version is about a centimetre longer. And just over a centimetre taller. So yeah, it's just a little bit more space. The only other differences I found, I mean, they've all got the same, they've all got the 75% layout. They're both compatible with Windows and Macs, both compatible with the open source firmware, the VIA software, do you call it, or VIA? They're both wireless. That's one thing I've noticed. On the K, switches and the cable support is on the left hand side, but on the Q1, it's at the back. The switches also feel better quality on the back. It being on the back is probably a bit neater for the desk if you do have it wide. It just pokes straight out the back and away, whereas this one, it comes out the side and away, which is a bit of a pain. Well, it can be, depending on your setup. The other thing I've noticed is on the K, it's not a full aluminium frame. If you just look on this one, the whole keyboard is just one piece of aluminium, which probably explains the price, whereas on this, each piece is just, you can see the joints, just aluminium put on the side. This, when I first got it, felt really heavy. Compared to this, it feels light. This is, I don't know how much heavier, but I'd say at least 60% heavier. In terms of how it sounds, they've both got brown switches on there. It just sounds a bit, sounds more clicky on the Q, even though they're the same browns. So I wonder if that's just because it's more solid. Well, I don't want to say this one sounds hollow, but it sounds a little bit more hollow than this one. So here are the boxes. This is the Q1 Pro. They call it the knob version, which is a bit harsh. You can tell they're not an English company. I don't know if anyone in the US or the UK would call it a knob version, but a bit harsh. But I'll have it. I'll take it. K2 Pro. So if you look on the back and look on their differences, let's see the back. 75% dual compatibility even, open source firmware, wired and wireless. Essentially the same. They all have the sound absorbing foam and the light effects. Same 4000 milliamp battery, screw-in stabilizers. Yeah, they both have the same. So the only real difference I can see is I'm now a knob for having this one. Here they are with the lights on. So on this one, the Q, you don't have a dedicated light button for the lighting, the RGB lighting. If you look on the K, you have one there. I mean, you could, if you never use the home key, for example, you could put one on there and reprogram that, so that changes the lights. But without the dedicated button, you just press function and Q, and it cycles through all the options. Whereas on this one, because it has a lighting option there already, you can press that and it will go through all the options. Loads of like strobing ones and fading ones that you never really want to use. Really, you just want to put it on a solid light unless you're really fancy or a gamer, of course, and then you want your lights doing all sorts. I found on this one, I'd try and hit the delete key and I'd press that by accident and my keyboard would be going crazy. That's why I like this one, because the delete key has a bit of separation there, so it's easier to find. And there's no lighting button that you can accidentally press. Like I said, you could change it and reprogram it, but I just think it's a bit more solid. But in terms of whether or not you should upgrade if you have a K, depends how much you want that volume button really. I mean, this was £120 roughly. This was £220. I've got to say that quite quietly in case my wife hears and we get divorced. So it's like an extra £100 really, just for a bit more space, a bit more of a solid design, and the volume key. I hope that's given you a good idea of what they're both like. If you have any questions, let me know.